Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 264th episode. In the last 263 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 school leaders on this very platform where they have shared their ideas, opinions, innovation, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक के 264 एपिसोड में। पिछले 263 एपिसोड में हमने करीबन 5,000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों से बातचीत की और उनसे ये जानने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदलती है। But since today is a specifically international episode where we have principals and students from all over the world, we'll stick English. Normally, the Blub World Web Talks happens in two languages, English and Hindi, that people are allowed to use. But since today is a strictly global episode, we would request everyone to please speak to English during this complete conversation. Before we start the session, just let me lay some ground rules for you so it's easy for you to have this conversation and make it more enjoyable for everyone who's there. So in the next 50 to 60 minutes, each of you gets a speaking time of nearly 3 minutes. And think of the Blub World Web Talks like a speaking sprint, like a 100-meter race, not like a marathon. So once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's
respected chairperson and my dear other participants. Hello, good evening to everybody. It's a very interesting topic to talk about this thing. You yourself, Mr. Gaur, I think, am I right? Mr. Gaur, you yourself hold a lot of experience in scrutinizing the things. You yourself picked up a point which was hitting my mind, that there are two kinds of learners. One is active learner, one is passive learner. For active learner, a little convenient to ponder over the thing and to scrutinize what is good and what is bad. Whatever the news, whatever the content is available, whether it is fake or genuine, so it is easy for them to contemplate. So for active learners, it's not that easy. It's easy. For passive learners, it becomes very difficult. And most of the population, when we talk about passive learners, we talk about laymen actually, right? About laymen. So most of the passive learners, laymen, when we talk, so they don't dig up the things. So they don't have so much curiosity, or you may say they are not highly engrossed in seeing the both faces of AI. So I stand before you to oppose this motion. Can we trust online research in the age of AI and paid reviews? First and foremost, let's take concern of this thing. See, paid reviews, it's a fake trust. It is a fake trust. And most of the people, most probably, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, 98%, as per my experience, so they pick up these fake reviews. They will not dig up the things. They will not go to the genuine source. It's simple to understand. I'm giving you one example here. Amazon fake reviews 2019. The Washington Post found thousands of verified, I'm telling you, verified 5-star reviews. They were fake. And often written in bulk by most of the writers. Then take the next example. Example number 2, power bank case. Top rated power bank. It got exploded many times. It had 10,000 plus glowing reviews. And it was very unfortunate. I mean, nobody cares actually. Everybody cares about money. I mean, I have got my...
So the first 3 minutes were over. So I forgot to actually mention one thing, that when the last 30 seconds of your speech are happening, at that point, Blub World's profile raises its hand, and I'll also raise my hand. That means you have the final 30 seconds to conclude. But we'll come back to you in the open floor at the end of the discussion. So what you said is very right, that right now Amazon reviews is $1 billion industry. just to give fake reviews and, typically build a picture that does not really exist. The internet is a factory of perceptions. And the problem with perception is there is no need for a perception to be very near reality. So this is the reality that we have to understand, that yes, there's a lot of information that might be right, that might not be right. And it's very difficult for a layman to really understand what's working for them and what's not. So thank you so much, Alisa, for the contribution and this amazing start to the discussion. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Dr. Bharat Joshi, the principal of Mother Teresa Public School from Janakpur, Madhesh, Nepal. Bharat, sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening to each and everyone. Okay, thank you, Daksh, to handing over and giving me this opportunity, and each and everyone, those they are sitting and listening me. Yeah. Honestly, if I am telling you, each and everyone, right now we are in this era, in this time duration, in currently where we are, that coming generations right now, if we are talking about that, every 5 years, we considering that one generation's changes. We considering that earlier, when we were in that our past, during that time, the generation considered usually that 25 to 20 years, the one generation is changes. Right now, that generations usually considering that the 5 years. Every 5 years, we found that the one generation is changes. And we are obsoletes. Basically, if we are talking about we are obsoletes, if you are not update yourself, because the AI is already entered in our life. And students, especially that are future, our children's, they are advanced. And basically, they are worried about their future. Their learning system completely changed. Their trust break over that the teachers. Because of that, might be somewhere teacher is in that teaching it during that time classes, might be he skipped that few topics, few concepts. Later on that, when they are searching over that internet and through that AI, chat GTPs, everything is there in that market. That trust day by day is breaking. And this is due to that AI. Many people, my few friends, they are from the India, and they are right now that researchers, scholars, they are doing their doctorates through that online. And many universities, they are offering that online research programs, because everyone is chasing for that mentioning herself as a doctor in front of their name. So they are just chasing the universities and university offering that through that online courses and maintaining that the doctorate's positions. But basically, from my point of view, for that, all of that, my friends and the audience, please be aware. AI entered in our life, and we need to be particular about that for each and everything. By that, the knowledge side, by for that future sides, by that the our career sides. Many people, they are chasing. They are chasing our day by day and hour by hour and seconds by seconds. They are chasing us. They are providing the fake informations. They are providing that actually that the things are not existed in this world, but they are just showing like that the things are existed. They are existed in this world. So it's my request to each and everyone, if we are discussing over these points, then we need to be very, very particular about that. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are talking, whatever we are searching, and just try to chasing the few different new things.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bharat. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you in the open floor. And I think you're very right. We'll have to be far more aware of what is happening on the internet. How do we do fact checking? Whatever information we are consuming, there are very active elements that work on feeding misinformation. And when there are people feeding misinformation continuously, as individuals, we'll have to figure out ways of typically, finding out what's right and what's wrong. Because at the end of it, we will be the ones who will get impacted. By spreading fake information or misinformation, they gain something out of it. But as a reader, as a consumer of information, you are at the losing end. So we'll have to figure out a way of really finding out what's right and what's wrong on the internet. Thank you so much. So let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Mohammad Hafizur Rahman, the principal of the Radius International School from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Hafizur, sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening and assalamu alaikum. So thank you for giving me the chance to speak here. The topic is truly contemporary, it's time oriented. We need to talk about it. I have heard the two speakers just before me. Yes, I do agree with them. The time has become the toughest for the teenagers. They're going through a lot of challenges nowadays. There is a good gap of empathy. There's a good gap of reality. They don't understand what to do, what not to do, but they look for all the solutions in ChatGPT, Google, AI. Okay, I was having a meeting with grade 8 students and parents last evening. So the same message that came from the parent, they're also concerned about their kids. The students are desocializing. They are not reaching people heart to heart. They're cutting up the bonding with the family members, friends. They are, going more individualized nowadays. The challenges that we, the educators, find in classes, sometimes we find the students sleep in the classrooms. They stay overnight. They do not consult with the teachers nowadays more. They rather consult with artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. So whenever we do assign some sort of home assignment, homework, they try to look for the answers from ChatGPT. So this is a great challenge for us, how to get back to the real life activities, investing their intelligence, importing ideas from the surroundings. So knowledge is going apart. They're copying, Google, AI. They're just asking them to become, a different sort of prototype. The re-engineering. They are not investing their intellectual. They are not thinking. That is a big challenge on their way to achieve the true knowledge. So which I think we need to, with the educators, the institutions should be aware of this, and bridging between family and institution is more important nowadays. We cannot blame the kids only. This is something, they are shoved up with. They are exposed to receive this, technology. So we have designed it. It's not them. So we need to be more empathy driven. We need to stand beside them. We need to discuss with them how to, yes, sir, how to select this internet options, internet facilities cautiously. And I think we can work with them through empathy, through more connectivity, through more counseling. So we need to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammad Hafizur Rahman. You're very right that at this moment, why does a student, a teenager, or a child really goes to an AI bot? The simple difference is when I go to a parent, I might get a lecture. When I go to a bot, I get the information. There's always attached content that I get. That AI bot is far more familiar to me. It responds in the way that I want it to respond. Since the parent, the family, the institution don't have the time to respond to every single silly question of a student, that is why they confide in an AI bot. So at the end of the day, the onus finally rolls back onto the institution, the parents, the family, and rather, why is it said that it takes a village to raise a child? It actually comes back to the village to take onus of their own children. We'll have to be far more cautious, because if your relationship with your child is not amazing, then there might be a chance there would be a third player in the story, and that could take your story to a complete disaster. So think more towards relationships if you really want to decrease the impact, or rather nullify the impact of AI ruining lives. Thank you so much, sir, for adding this perspective. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Sachin Jadhav, the Vice Principal for Podar International School from Pune, Maharashtra, India. Sachinji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening and happy Teachers' Day to each and everyone, all the viewers of this particular web talk. As most of the points are taken up by the other panelists directly, I will jump to some references over here. Nowadays, as we are living in the digital era, if we talk about the students' perspective, actually, the most commonly used platform by the students is Google Scholar. I would like to bring to your notice the disclaimer under the warranty and the legality of that particular platform I was just going through. It is clearly mentioned over here that I quote, "Don't rely on the services or the content provided here for any medical, legal, financial, or other any professional services." Very clearly, it is mentioned by that. Another very famous platform among the student is scyspace.com, which is actually AI-powered platform. And I was going through the disclaimer. It clearly says that the content provided here may contain some technical inaccuracies and typographical mistakes or errors. Actually, so many other disclaimers are there, but I'm just directly, taking up a few of the important points. If we move ahead from school and college level to the professional level, there is very famous platform used by the professionals actually for the data purpose. That is nothing but Kaggle, Kaggle. I was just going through the disclaimers, and it is clearly mentioned over here that we are not liable to any of the errors, omissions, discrepancies, or about the outputs and the content provided by the third party. It is very much clear from this all disclaimers that there is no guarantee that whatever the information or the data which is available on this digital platform, it is reliable. No one is ready to take the responsibility. At the same time, I would like to bring to your notice that unlike US, in India, we do not have any such act called as Accountability Act, right? And that's why most of such platforms are simply denying the responsibility to take any action against, if at all any discrepancies are there. So what would I like to say is that is the answer to this question then that no, we shall not rely on this digital platform? So we cannot say that, right? Now, many more aspects are there that we must take into consideration. That is, who is the end consumer of this particular data? If at all primary or middle school or school level students are there, definitely, of course, this data can be referred because they are not going to use it for any other purposes. Fine. So if at all professionally we are supposed to use, then my suggestion would be that, of course, this data shall be referred, but at the first hand, the individual or the candidate shall go for the standard procedures of their own research, maybe surveys and other tools, and then they shall find their own conclusion. That's my time.
Thank you so much, Sachinji. Very impactful and very timely. You mentioned a very critical aspect of this, that we are going to these bots, we are going to these websites typically to search for credible information. We do not believe an adult around us when he or she says something. We say that you might not have the right kind of information, but we are ready to rely on a platform or on a bot that clearly mentions that I don't take the onus of the information that I provide. And you're very right that in the US, there is an Accountability Act, but to what extent are they really able to put it to practice is the challenge. Because even if you make an enactment around this and you make people responsible for it, there will still be a lot of errors. Because at the current moment, the kind of AI that we use has not been trained on enough data sets. So right now, you cannot rely on it. And we can say that very confidently that if you want to use that information for some small little, convenience, you can do it. But if you want to rely on it for research, please don't do it. Because even those platforms say the same. The only difference is they say it in very small fonts, somewhere hidden where you don't reach. So to be very frank, you can comfortably and confidently say, as an educator, don't rely on AI. Thank you so much, Sachinji. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Shivi Podar, the principal from Dhenuka International School from Dehri, Bihar, India. Shiviji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Daksh, sir. And good evening, everyone. So happy Teachers' Day to you all. Yeah, nice to hear that no one is agree for AI. Yeah, that is. I am also. Because now this is the time. In this time, the child is coming from the mother's womb to take the mobile in their hands, isn't it? So from the childhood, they are having the mobiles. And nowadays, they are not having the physical activities outside of the house. They are bonding with the homes, the rooms, mobiles, and accessories, and the means all the things. So now the human being also being the means the children are also being the machinery. So they are also used to play with the machine. They are not elaborating their minds themselves. They are not opening their minds. They are wanting just to come up in the Google or AI searching. They are only just depending on the chat or GPT, isn't it? Last time I was rounding in my school and I searched there. I went in a class of 9. So I saw there and the teacher was discussing and saying that, ma'am, I gave the task to them, and except one or two, three students, each and everyone were copying the task from the Google. No one were opening the books. They didn't wanting to open the book to read the chapter, the topics, or whatever the teacher was giving the thoughts to them. They didn't bother to read also. So it was shocking for us that at that our era, we were only opening the books, we were searching in the books, we were opening the dictionaries. Now, if we will ask the children to open the dictionary, where the meaning of that word, they are not able to search the words in the dictionary. How to open the word, how to search the words. Alphabetically, they are not knowing alphabetically to search the words. You know, because they are not having the physical activities out of the house. They are engaged only in searching, in doing, and we don't have the trust. We know, but they are not depending on it. Because if they are not thinking about it, we are thinking that no, if the Google Chacha, they are calling them Google Chacha. If the Google Chacha is saying that it will be correct or it will be true. But we are knowing that there are so many answers of a single question. So it depends on us. But that time the student confused that which answer will be correct. They are even not knowing that which answer is correct. So if they are knowing or thinking only a single question is there, so single answer should be there, but not, isn't it? No, I don't think so that only the single answer is there on the AI or the Google. So I think that it is not the good thing for the children or for any other teacher or educator or any principal or means anyone. It is not the good thing, but nowadays our government, our Google or our mechanics, each and every one is going on the backside of.
Thank you so much, Shivi ma'am. You're right that even if we want to stop that use of AI or use of Google, we cannot do it because at the end of the day, the student has access to it. Even the teachers have access to it. Since everyone has access to it, people rather than using it are misusing it. We understand that in the past generations, it took a lot of effort to really find out a fact. You might have to go to a library, you might have to reference, then you might have to find it in some book, and then finally figure it out that yes, this is the piece of information that I want, and yes, this is reliable and I can take it forward, but now it's on the fingertips. So when something is easy, humans adapt to it very quickly. That's why we all have a ceiling fan at our home. And then we went on to AC. Whenever humans get any convenience in their lifespan, they will always accept it. They would never take the hard path. Thank you so much, Shivi ma'am. But yes, we have to encourage students at least to verify, cross-reference, and try to figure out what's the real fact when they're researching. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Vikas Jay Anand, the Vice Principal for Mother Pride School from Gaya, Bihar, India. Vikas, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. What I heard from everybody who has spoken before me, I found that we all are speaking against a trend that is eventually going to take on the world, right? AI is a demand, is a need of the day, right? Internet. We cannot overlook its presence, right? I'll give you an example. In my schools, I gave my students the assignment to write 10 essays. I'm an English teacher as well as a vice principal. Write 10 essays and do the research on through AI, right? And after that, I conducted a test for them. And to my surprise, I found that the word power, the vocabulary, the sentence construction, there was an improvement in all of that, right? Now, that is something that goes against what everybody is saying here. We cannot avoid it. It is a trend, and eventually, slowly and gradually, the way we are evolving, the AI, internet, and these paid reviews, etc., whatever we are talking about, that will take over the world. And it is in the process of that. The idea is that how well we utilize it. We cannot stop it, but we will have to understand how well and in how planned manner we can utilize it. Though there are students, there are children who has the access to internet. There are professionals who has the access to internet. And I accept that all the information that is there on the internet or on artificial intelligence, they are not correct. But a wise use is what is the need of the day, right? We in India, we are a population of 140 crores. One day the government decided that everybody should have a photo identity card that should be linked to a server. And then they came up with the concept of Aadhaar card, and they connected 140 crore people on the internet. In the same way, we can have a regulatory control or restriction, and a method to use it wisely, and to have a control on the people who are creating these AI platforms and internet platforms where the people are visiting. So my suggestion is that we cannot avoid it. We will have to go ahead and look for the ways where we can use it wisely and in a controlled and restricted manner. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vikasji. I think a very apt suggestion that you gave that must be taken forward in the discussion, that when you can create technology like Aadhaar, when you have the complete banking system working online, when you have a banking license that's so difficult for an organization to take, why it's superbly easy for somebody to create an AI bot. Because at the current age and the kind of change that we all see every day in our lives, information is nearly currency. So when we monitor currency so carefully, why are we not monitoring information, or rather AI-based information through regulatory frameworks? And at the end, what you really mentioned, the context that you brought to the discussion was, we cannot say a no to it. Even if you keep saying a no to it, you cannot fight a trend. Most importantly, every business, every individual, every politician, every policymaker, every human being has to understand it's nearly impossible to fight a human behavior. The market has to work with the human behavior. You cannot go against it. And what I just mentioned before this, will you all remove the ceiling fan from your home? You won't. It gives you the comfort, it gives you access, and AI is basically a super evoluted format of that small little innovation of giving you ease of life. So you cannot remove ease of life. You cannot be against ease of life. So figure out a way to regulate it. Thank you so much, Vikasji. So now is the time when we have to start listening to the teenagers, that what do they think? It was all adults right now who were sharing their opinions. They are the ones who see AI and technology and Google searches in a very different way. Now, what do the teens really think? We have teenagers here from 3 different countries. So let's see, what do they bring to the complete discussion? What kind of perspective they have on what we are going to discuss today. The next speaker for today is Mr. Shenol Fernando, who's currently an advanced level student at St. Thomas Catholic International College from Sedua, Western Province, Sri Lanka. Shenol, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself.
Thank
and
you,
a very
sir.
warm welcome.
And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm Shenol Fernando from Sri Lanka, currently serving as an MP at the 4th Working Parliament. It's an honor to speak here today, and I sincerely thank Blub World for this opportunity. The theme, can we trust online research in the age of AI and paid reviews? My first thought was that this isn't just about technology. It's about trust. Students, parents, even policymakers, the information we rely on directly shapes our choices. The internet and AI have made knowledge more accessible than ever, but misinformation, biased reviews, and AI generated content that sounds accurate yet isn't make it harder to know what's real. So today, the real challenge isn't finding information, it's trusting it. Individually, we can check the source. Who is behind it? Are they credible? And look for proof. Are there data, references, or citations? And thirdly, cross-check. Do multiple reliable sources agree? But personal responsibility isn't enough. Now, here's an idea that something I'd love to see as a new policy. I call it trust chain. Because just like a chain links together pieces of metal to create strength, this program would link together facts, sources, and verifications to create reliability. The idea is simple. Every article, review, or AI output would carry a trust label, showing who created it, what sources were used, whether it's been independently verified. Stored on blockchain, these labels could be secretly altered. Imagine scrolling and instantly seeing verified sources or opinion based. Even AI tools could connect to this system and display the trust label automatically. With trust chain, people wouldn't just consume information, they'd consume it with confidence. So, can we trust online research in the age of AI and paid reviews? Yes. If we sharpen our judgment and build systems that reward truth over noise, because information will always be everywhere, but wisdom is knowing what to trust.
Thank you so much, Shinal. And I think you gave the solution to what Vikas just said, that rather than being arbitrary about it, rather than just creating a resolution, trusting the people who are creating AI, why don't you implement the same technology that manages all financial transactions to managing information? Whenever AI content is generated, why don't you label it, put blockchain into it so that the complete chain of communication, wherever it's forwarded, wherever it goes, that information is every single time labeled. But I think you'll have to understand the blockchain is superbly expensive when you really want to implement it at such a scale. But I think it's a very valid idea that you say. And I think for the developed countries who have the money to afford it, this is something that should, people should typically start experimenting. As a policymaker, they have to understand, let's regulate information like currency. That would make, sources credible, reliable, because for a layman, it's very difficult to verify. And not everybody has the IT wisdom to understand, am I being fed this information or did I search this information? This is something that people don't typically know when they're on the internet. Thank you so much, Shenol. Let me invite the next speaker for today. Next, we have Miss Eberechuku Iwafor, who's a grade 12 student from Faith Academy Secondary School from Jabi, Nigeria. I hope, Eberechuku, I pronounced your surname right. If I did not, please correct it. A very warm welcome to you. The next 3 minutes are yours.
Goodness. And I'm a graduate of Faith Academy Secondary School, Abuja, Nigeria. I would like us to reflect on a question that matters deeply in our digital space. Can we truly trust online research in a world shaped by artificial intelligence and paid reviews? For most teenagers, the internet is our first stop for answers. We rely heavily on online research, whether it's for schoolwork, career exploration, or even deciding which gadgets to buy. But here is the challenge. The online space is no longer as clear-cut as it once was. What we read may not always be real. With so much falsified information everywhere, what is genuine will be like searching for truth in a sea of half-truths. Artificial intelligence has changed the game. On one hand, it makes access to knowledge faster and more efficient, but on the other hand, can create misinformation just as quickly. These same AI tools that can summarize books, explain concepts, and even generate solutions within seconds can also be seen fabricating sources, producing biased answers, and even spreading false narratives that look convincing. Add to this the rise of paid reviews. Many products and services are promoted online with glowing comments, not because they are truly good, but because someone was paid to say so. Research shows that nearly 40% of online reviews may be fake. That means almost half of what we read could be misleading. Imagine how many teenagers buy into trends, apps, or even ideas that are not genuine simply because they trusted the wrong review. Now we are left with the question, can we still trust online research? The answer is yes, but carefully. Here are three principles we must adopt. One, be cautious. Not everything online is true. We must verify facts, compare sources, and think twice before accepting information at face value. Two, we must demand transparency. Platforms must take responsibility by writing AI-generated content and sponsored material. As young people, we can use our voices to call for honesty in the digital space. 3, think critically. I believe the most powerful tool given to mankind for free is our mind. By questioning, analyzing, and seeking multiple perspectives, we can protect ourselves from manipulation. In conclusion, online research is a powerful gift of our generation, but with great power comes great responsibility. As teenagers slipping into the digital space, we must choose to be wise, cautious, practical, and critical thinkers. If we demand transparency and practice discernment, then yes, online research can still be trusted, not as a trap for the unwary, but as a tool for empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chuku. Now, in a generation which has absolute access to absolute information at every point of time, finding the information is not the challenge. Verifying it is really the big one. And the problem is, are we really teaching people to verify information? Is there a course in schools to typically filter fake information, misinformation? What are the sources from where you can verify information? If they're researching, if they're using ChatGPT, let's assist them rather than restrict them. It's very important to understand that let's teach teenagers, let's teach students to be more equipped in being able to use the platforms to the best of their knowledge. It's important for us to understand a new set of knowledge is now needed, not a new set of restrictions. Thank you so much, Chuku. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ansh Gulati, who's a grade 11 student from Sun City School 37D, Gurugram, Haryana, India. Ansh, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, respected panel and fellow members of parliament. My name is Ansh Gulati, and the speech topic for today is: can we trust online research in the age of AI and paid reviews? Well, if my phone tells me that pineapple pizza cures cancer and the next link insists that it causes cancer, maybe it's time to ask, are we researching or just scrolling chaos? Here's the ugly truth. 40% of students admit that they copy-paste AI answers without even verifying. Translation: ChatGPT is writing essays, I'm getting grades, and somewhere in the far corner, critical thinking has just filed for unemployment. And online reviews, brace yourselves. Fake review farms now form a $20 billion industry called Amazon. May have heard of it. Amazon alone, over 61% of top rated products have at least one fake review. That's not called public opinion, that's mass manipulation in 5-star packaging. The next time you see a life changing product, remember it only changed the seller's life and drained your wallet. Misinformation isn't a theory, it's a pandemic. Pew Research found out that over 70% of adults admit struggling to tell true news from false online. And social media amplifies this with algorithms designed for engagement, not truth. Trusting online research today is like asking a magician to do your tax returns. Entertaining, but you're getting robbed. And yet we swipe, click, a copy and hope for the best. Convenience has become credibility and popularity masquerades as truth. But let's return to the question. If online reviews can make pineapple on pizza look like a gourmet experience, are we really going to let them define what's true and what's false? Newsflash: algorithms don't care about your grades, your health, or your sanity. They care about clicks, engagement, and profit. And paid reviews, they're the polished masks hiding the rotten teeth of misinformation. So here's the mic drop. In the age of AI and paid reviews, trust without verification isn't optimism, it's intellectual suicide with Wi-Fi. And if you leave today thinking, oh, I'll just Google it, remember, you're rolling dice in Vegas. The house always wins. Yes, they save time. Yes, they save effort, but they also outsource your thinking. If time saved comes at the cost of critical reasoning, congratulations, you're efficient at being manipulated. We should stop trusting it blindly. Online research is a tool, not a truth machine. If you don't verify, you're not a user. And you're not a user, you're a puppet. And trust me, puppets don't write history, humans do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ansh. I think you're very right with this, that you're simply rolling a dice in Vegas and the house will always win, and the house is winning every single day. That's why misinformation is now a pandemic across the globe in all of the countries. Why do we see so much of fake content with absolutely no context on our phones every single morning when we sit down and scroll? Because it makes money. I think Chenol is very right when he added that let's treat information like currency. Because if we don't do that, we are going to swim in a pool where cheaters are right beside us. And you never know who's going to rob you or cut your pocket or take away all the assets that you might have, whether they be digital, whether they be financial, or whether they be your actual assets. We can see it across the globe that crimes have increased, and specifically cyber crimes have seen a shooting star happening for them. They're able to do it across the globe with absolute efficiency. Nobody being able to do it. So at this point, when you all started the discussion about can we really trust information, why have we simply come to a point where we have to discuss cybercrime? It's as simple as that. This world is super fast. Information is no more information. It's absolute currency. Figure out a way to manage it, figure out a way to learn it, and most importantly, all the school leaders and the education here, figure out a way that the next generation has wisdom to use it. The purpose of education or knowledge is basically knowing your ledge. Do teenagers, does the future generation really know their ledge? Do we have an ecosystem to provide them that wisdom? Thank you so much, everyone. This was the Blub Talks episode 264. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, do DM us and our team will invite you to the next one. Keep the discussion rolling. The purpose of these discussions is not to typically give you all the information in 50 minutes. It's basically to incite or start a conversation that makes your life easier, that makes your life more interesting. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste, and have an amazing day ahead. Bye-bye.